Okay, thank you for your invitation. It's my honor to be invited to the capital of the world, cultural capital of the world, of the 1,000 years, possibly 2,000 years. And my favorite architecture is the Blue Mosque, and I bring my students to Blue Mosque every as a 3 years, because that is one of the best things our student can see, and professor too. And I found, and there are so many things I can learn. And talking about Blue Mosque, you may find I'm in blue, and you can see that my watch is blue, and my socks is blue, and after all, I have an iPhone in blue, and everything I have is in blue, and my wife is in red. And everybody thinks I'm wearing the same T-shirts all the time. But I have more than 100 T-shirts, so it's quite wash to clean, so you don't need to worry about. And everything we share in the yellow. So we decided to make our daughter into yellow. And eventually we got our son. And we were supposed to make our son into yellow as well. But my daughter didn't like to lose her color, so she started giving him green. So it's quite easy to find us in Istanbul. Actually, I'm in Istanbul every other month, another 1.5 years. And if you find our red, blue, green, yellow colors walking down the street, it must be us. The reason why I'm trying to talk about our family is that our architecture is about human being and lifestyle. These days, our students really want to do things for special occasions. They want to design architecture for very special events. But I say, it's much better to design things for daily life than very special occasion. The most beautiful thing about the Blue Mosque is that the architecture is alive. When I go to Blue Mosque, I sit on the floor, I stay there at least 30 minutes and listening what's going on and watching what players are doing. And when I go to Hagia Sophia, I feel sad because it's not alive. My point is, architecture cannot live without human being. Architecture can exist because of the human being. And these days, we destroy only 30 years or 40 years buildings. I was thinking why we are doing it. And these days we are talking about architecture, which can live more than 1,000 years. But it's very funny discussion because people in Istanbul has been doing that more than 2,000 years. It's so easy to make architecture which can live more than 1,000 years, structurally. But still we destroy it because people don't like the latest architecture. So I started thinking how I can make architecture which can be loved by many people. Everybody likes. So I'm going to start my lecture from the smallest project we have ever done, my wife and me, my boss. And this is the smallest project and the cheapest project we have ever done. But yet, this project gave me the basic thinking, the most important thinking of our office. Let me start with this picture. Okay? Thank you, Tuku. Okay, this is a house our client used to live in. Oops, this way. And whenever I talk to my client, I try to ask, what kind of lifestyle you want? Do you go surfing? Do you go to the mountain? Or do you cook? Do you like Turkish food? Do you like shish kebab? Something like that. Actually, our latest client love teppanyaki, means a Japanese a barbecue. And then said, we love, sorry, just how do I get the red dot? Okay, this one. They said they love eating on a lunch on top of this roof. It's a very small roof. I said, I didn't believe it. And they were showing that this small window crawling out there and showing how they eat. And then they were showing this picture. It looks quite dangerous. There's no handrail and the ceramic tiles are falling off. I said, it's quite dangerous. But they said, don't worry, just we are coming out with these two daughters. So they're convincing. So we decided to design a house with quite nice rooftop. And this is the location of the house, right? And it's on the edge of the residential area, looking down the valley. And we placed lifestyle on top of the inclined roof. And the younger sister said, this is my skylight. She wanted to crawl out. You know, people feel good when we do what we are not supposed to do. They were enjoying crawling out from the small window to the rooftop. And we started placing this skylight. And then younger sister said, this is my skylight. And the elder sister said, this is my skylight. And the father said, this is mine. And the mother said, okay, the one in the kitchen is mine. And they eventually ended up many skylights. And then the wife of this house said, okay, we need some kind of privacy. It's very strange kind of privacy, having life on top of the roof. But so we had to place a wall. But she said, you know, my mother, I mean the grandmother of this house, is living in this direction, about 80 meters. And she said, I have to make sure if my mother and the grandmother is still alive in the morning. So we had to cut the corner of this wall. And then they said winter is very cold, so we had to put stove. And then we had to place a shower behind. So many things started happening. Then you got a section, but it's very simple section. And there's one thing I have to talk about. This is very low roof. This is only 1.9 meter. There's a reason, because they said they want to have a barbecue on top of the this roof. But I said it's dangerous because this is wooden rooftop. You're gonna burn your house down. But I said, okay, you should have a barbecue in the garden. But they said, okay, please make sure the edge of the roof to be low enough so that you can press a barbecue. I would say shish kebab in Turkey. And so this is only 1.9 meter. But believe me, this is quite good enough for Japanese. Maybe not for Scandinavians. And always I draw people in the plan. And actually, this is really very first drawing we made for the presentation more than 10 years ago. And these are sliding doors, but now we have 9 rails so that we can store everything to here. We can make it completely open. And this is the loop plan. You can see that many things are going on, having lunch. and this elder sister is playing soccer. She said it's nice to practice soccer on top of the roof because it's inclined. When you kick a ball, and the ball comes back automatically. So she can keep doing it. And the structure. Okay, we had to make a quite efficient structure. So we used only one kind of section, 105 by 105, this size, and applying plywood on the both sides so that we can make a non-direction slab. We can span on the two directions. It's a very simple structure, but yet very thin. We wanted to make the roof to be very thin so they can pop the head up to the rooftop, so that as you are going through a sheet of paper. This is my wife. And this is how it's built. And when we built this, this became the front cover of our Japan Architect magazine. And also, this was published on Architecture Review all over the place on the world. People liked it. But our Japan Architects magazine got the complaints from the readers. And some readers said, this must be very illegal because there's no handrail around the edge. And actually, I was drawing handrail on the drawing, but client is also a registered architect. Actually, he is quite important person in the government providing apartment houses for normal people. He said, okay, the house we used to live in, just in this way around. He was showing this picture. This house didn't have any handrail, right? No handrail. And now, no house on the hill has handrail on top. No house in the valley has handrail. So they are saying it should be okay. And I passed the drawing to the planning application department. They said, okay, it's okay because it's a roof. Now later, this project got all kinds of prizes, including Japan Institute of Architects Prize, and became so famous. And all students know about this. And now young architects are trying to do the same. And now they are trying to submit their drawings to the planning application department, government. And always they are in trouble. And then they have a picture of this project saying, okay, this is quite famous project. All students know about. So you should give me permission. And then the people on the government side also has a picture saying, no, I have the picture too. That is why I can't let you do this. So this is the first project with a handrail on top of the roof, and this is going to be the last project on top of the roof in Japan. I really like it. Nobody can do it again. Okay, and this is how you look down the parade. And before this house was built, there are not so many people passing by. Now this passage is quite popular in this residential area because they know that this family member are having breakfast on top of the roof, and they say good morning to these family members. Many people are doing it, and this house has high ground, and the level of the ground is same as this rooftop. And there's a gentleman who loves beer. He tried to give beer to this family member. And once you accept it, you have to be careful because the next door neighbor come along with the beer, having a beer on top of the roof. So it's a very communal place. And this is how residential area looking like. And you can see that these two houses are very close by. That is why they are having these walls. And then one day, even the time construction wasn't finished, they had just only roof. Just always construction start from rooftop, because a construction company can do internal work, avoiding rain. The roof was the first to be built. Then, while the construction going on, they start ordering a lunch from the top of the roof using mobile phone. And then they ordered pizza from Pizza Hut. Do you have Pizza Hut in this country? Do you know Pizza Hut? Yes? And the Pizza Hut guy came down here with a motorbike, and he said, how can I go up to the roof? And we have a rudder behind this wall, leaning rudder on the corner, and the guy came up to the rooftop. The first thing he said was, where should I take my shoes? That's what he said. And then since then, the family member, the wife and the husband, they love doing it. So they kept ordering a pizza. And originally, there was a guy always delivering a pizza to this house, same person. But he never came after this occasion. And they kept having different kind of delivery man. And they made a question, what happened to the previous guy? And the Pizza Hut delivery man said, this house became so famous in Pizza Hut, so everybody want to see the house, so they are making switches. So now this house became the most famous house, in the pizza in this region, in the Pizza Hut. This is how they eat breakfast and lunch. And when this house was published on the JA, Japan Architects magazine, and there's one critic saying, actually they wrote a comment in the next issue saying, rooftop should be very hot in summer, very cold in winter. So maybe it's not in use. And maybe this is a fiction created by this stupid Brewer architect. No, we shouldn't listen to this guy. It was very strong comment. Then, for the first time in the 90 years history of that magazine, client wrote back to the magazine, we are using the rooftop. And when we won the prize, and the critic came, and he apologized, and then client made a very good comment. Rooftop should be very hot in summer. That's the reason why you should come out before sunrise or after dark. And the winter, rooftop should be very cold. They should come out after lunchtime. Rooftop should be warm enough. It's very simple. He was saying, instead of bringing the environment to us, we should be able to find the environment. That was a very good comment. And actually, eventually we started building up our thinking. And then we go to skiing, minus 20 degrees. And but yet we want to be in front of stove. And in summer we want to use air conditioning, but still we go to beach. The beach sand is 50 degrees, very hot. My point is, we are capable of finding an environment, and also we can adjust ourselves to the environment instead of changing the environment. And this client was quite clever. I learned a lot from this family. This is the worst kitchen I have ever seen. We did design it because it was free present from the carpenter. Very cheap project, but it's quite in use. And this is shower behind the wall. As you can see, it exports the air. And we didn't think they're going to use much, but they insisted they want this one on top of the roof. And one day we got a call from the client saying, it's very nice to take a hot shower in the cold typhoon. Do you know typhoon storm? And I said, whoa, you got to be very careful. Then the wife said, don't worry, I'm wearing t-shirts. I don't think she understood what I'm concerned about. So I know that they are really using it. It's very simple space. And looking back, and each skylight has one rudder. So there's one-by-one relationship. And one function has one light bulb, so one by one. It's very simple. And by the way, there's no curtain in the window. They like to live like that. And they call it privacy. And but I told them, there's a bathroom. Where you take shower and bath on this side, and the bedrooms behind these doors. And there's no corridor. I asked them, how do you get the bathroom? How do you get the bedroom from the bathroom after taking shower? They said, well, it's quite simple. You need to run very fast. And after I take a bath, you take this rudder up, feeling cool air, skylight for the kitchen. This is how they climb the ladder. Maybe this generation doesn't know, but in my generation, there's a game with a field rabbit. And the field rabbit pops out from underneath. We get a hammer to hit the head. And it's really like that. And also, I can tell you that very important to keep the roof structure to be very thin, because we want to feel the movement on top of the roof from underneath. Red socks and blue socks. You can see that the light bulbs. It's very simple. We usually work with a lighting designer. His name is Masahide Kakudate. Actually, he doesn't design light itself. He tried to design the lighting environment. And one day they said, maybe we're going to use a naked light bulb. We didn't believe him, but he started convincing me. One day, he asked by the council of Yokohama City, saying, we want to make the street, Motomachi Street, to be bright. And then he came back within a week saying, we have done that. But the city was expecting him to do that within a few years. And they went to the street, and they found out street is much brighter. And they asked him, how did you do that? He said, okay, I turned off the street light. Our eyes are capable of seeing from 1 lux to 10,000 lux. 10,000 lux is sun, right? 1 lux is very dark, but you can see that because we have pupils to adjust light. And usually we adjust the eyes to the brightest thing. And the local government was making the street light to be very bright. And it was reaching to 5,000 lux, 6,000 lux. And then all shops are around 300 or 400 lux. So they had a very bright street with very dark shops. Then they found out, the street is very dark. And once Masahide Kakudate turned off the street light, all light came back, and the lives can be seen. We could see the lives going on. And also he said, the most beautiful light, the most beautiful illumination you can see is a view of the city from the airplane on top of the hill. Because we feel the lives going on behind the light. Yellow light may represent old lady making curry. Maybe white light is representing the school. Children are studying. And the moving light represent a couple going to somewhere. So when we feel human movement, we feel good, you know. So then he started convincing me just this lighting bulb represent life. So we hang wherever we want. We didn't believe it, but it looks beautiful. You know, it's not technological, but it's random. But there's a big reason behind. And this is a night view of skylight, and each skylight has one lantern. Whenever you come up, you switch on one thing. Okay, one light. Okay, this is the end of the slide of this roof house. Okay, I have to move quickly. And through this project, we learned architecture can change human life. First of all, this housewife has a degree as a counsel in a psychological. She's doing counseling for the student having psychological problem or having problem with family. And she started doing counseling on top of the roof because she thought it's much more effective to do counseling on top of the roof rather being in a concrete building. And one day she had a junior high school student looking like a Clint Eastwood. Do you know Clint Eastwood? You know? And she brought the student up to the rooftop, and he climbed up. He was really bad-looking guy. You know, these days junior high school student can be taller than me. And then, few minutes after, he started changing his attitude completely, and he said, "No, I would be better man if I was grown up on top of the roof." It's quite serious. And now he went to very good school, and this wife did many counselings, and they went to good universities, and even one of them went to architecture school. And then now, 10 years after, the students who got counseling started forming foundation called Roof House Foundation to help young junior high school students. It's amazing, and one house changed. And also, you know, these children, actually there are 2 children grown up this house, may got a totally different kind of lifestyle. You know, they're going to be different person from others. And tertiary, it's an important point. This house was published on Architecture Review, and we are pleased. But actually, I hope there's not people from Architecture Review. You know, Architecture Review was making lies, and as they have visited this house, they are saying, you know, this architect came up with a very interesting idea, saying, you know, Tokyo's lack of space. So this architect made a space on top of the roof so people can live on top of the roof. But we liked it. We liked that lie because they understood our idea without our explanation. The picture could carry the message. Now, we architects cannot explain our concept right next to the architecture. Architecture lives longer than architect. So we need the architecture to tell the story, how they should enjoy the life in the architecture. So these are the kind of things we learned from this project. Then we move on. And this is a kindergarten existed before. And the owner said, we want to have a kindergarten for 600 children. We want to have a roof house for 600 children. And we built this. It's oval shape. and trees are going through the roof, and it's about 200 meters. And we wanted to keep the tree, but it's not too easy. We had to keep the root, right? We did a kind of archaeological excavation to make sure we don't cut the root. So it looks quite simple structure, but it's spanning a really long distance. Longest distance is 20 meters. Maybe the width of this room, there's a concrete floor. Then client said, okay, I like this project, but we don't want any handrail for this kindergarten. I said, it's impossible. But the principal said, how about making a net sticking out from the edge of the roof so that we can catch the falling of children? He was quite serious about. And I said, it's impossible, but we had to go to the government to convince, because client said so. But they said, are you sane? So I had to come back to the client saying, they told me I'm sane, but he convinced me again. So we had to go back to the government. But eventually, they said, okay, you can keep your idea just only around the tree. And they said, okay, this is a handrail. It never happened. It's not allowed anymore. But we found out the people from the government side was also a graduate of this kindergarten. And then they love to jump, falling into the net. And the handrail is nothing to do with this boy. You get more and more children and more. You can see that this boy loves tree because he's eating it. Again, it's nice to see children that are sitting around the edge, on the edge. Zoo, monkey looking out. And this is how it feeds them. Actually, it's agriculture class. And the roof edge is very low. This is only, the ceiling height is 2.1, because we wanted to see everything going on top of the roof and the things going on underneath of the roof, same time. And it's very simple. And actually, the rooftop is not flat; it's inclined, and also shape is not perfect oval, arbitral. I drew, and they scanned in, and they made it 3-dimensional. Okay, it's very simple. I have to tell you the story about this too. When we completed the building, we couldn't put green in the courtyard because of the season. And then we had a problem because we wanted to keep this stairs to be shorter. We made a mound, right, so that they don't break the neck. And then they know that where they can find a soft soil, they make bowls. And 600 children brought all these soil back to own house. The whole mound disappeared in a month, so we had to put it back. And eventually, we got green, so it's okay now. And this is a gargoyle, and telling story how rain becomes water. And so architecture is becoming a kind of educational tool. And this is a lake washing place. And we wanted to make this looking like a green growing, vegetation growing from the ground. And there are many kinds. It's flexible tube so that you can spray the water to your friends. And the shower, all kind of water tap. Actually, by the way, this boy is not washing his boots. He's putting water into the boots. Okay. Now this is the most important slide. It looks quite simple space. But when you get there, you'll be surprised. You don't feel the existence of the column. Maybe if I refer to this space, I have one column here, another column is on another side. Just there are going to be just only two columns, and the column size is only 150 mil. Very strong steel, usually used for cannons in the tank. Very strong steel, and also we did a calculation for the beam. And all these things are in simulation on the computer. And also, this space is completely open. There is no boundary between classrooms. And so we did analysis, an acoustic analysis, acoustic simulation. And also the conditional light is simulated on the computer. So everything was carefully considered. But yet you don't feel it. That we call it nostalgic future. I'll tell you more about later. This kindergarten is Montessori education. Maybe some people know. Montessori is education created by one of the Italian lady 100 years ago. Originally, this was the education for mentally disabled children. And eventually, it applied to all children because it was quite effective. But the point is, they educate children in one generation. And I have to explain more. They educate 3 years old with 5 and 6 years old. So they don't divide the year. Because they think it's quite important to educate all together, like a family. And also they think it's quite important to get noise from next classroom. So we made it one space, but yet we have to control it. Every morning, one of the TV programs starts from this kindergarten, but always TV company, the TV crewman gets surprised because even taking a picture, taking a TV picture with TV camera, they keep concentration in this kindergarten. It never works in normal elementary school or kindergarten. The principal said, because they are doing it, they are capable of keeping concentration in the noise. We are capable of listening the voice from 5 kilometers away quite easily. In quiet space. Even in the studio, you can see an acoustic studio, still you can hear the noise from outside. It's amazing. We have very amazing ability. But in front of the train station, still you can distinguish information from the noise. And even still you can hear what your friends or mother is saying. Saying same thing. And if you have noise from next classroom, these children then are trained to listen to the teacher. And secondly, there is one professor saying this is amazing building because this building eradicated all humiliation or outcast from school. This is the first successful example. In this kindergarten, if this boy doesn't like this class, he's allowed to go to next classroom. So there's no boundary. And then, our principal said, when we put people into cage, people start making hierarchy from top to the bottom. That is human nature. It can say same thing about monkey or in prison. But when you remove the boundary, all the conflict or humiliation, all things disappears. So they are doing it. But my point is, all these things are supported by this space. And In the 20th century, we were living in the world controlled by the machine. We had to adjust ourselves. We human beings had to adjust ourselves to the machines. You know the movie called Modern Times by Charles Chaplin? And then the position of the machine was taken over by computer. There's a movie called Tron, T-R-O-N, and the hero gets sucked in the computer, and the hero fights like a computer-aided design character. And in that movie, and the computer was a representation of the future. Who get the skill of the computer was getting richer in the movie. But in this century, a movie called Matrix, I think many people know about the movie called Matrix. The things going on the computer, it's much more real than real world. And you can feel, and you can touch, and you can say same thing about this iPhone. And the looks quite simple. But the great thing is that my daughter, 7-year-old daughter, can use this thing, and she can switch on, and she can make a drawing, and she can I'll export this drawing to another computer. 7 years old, now 5 years old, my son is doing it. My point is, these things exist like air. You don't need to know what it is, but yet supported by the latest technology. In the 20th century, we architects needed to show our capability, saying, the wavy roof or very spiky columns, looking like designed by computer. It's showing our capability. But this is different, This curvature is designed for the human palm, so they can hold it. And also, the size is right? Everything is designed for human touch, but yet it's controlled by a computer. My point is, we need to see what's going on because we are professionals. We are architects. Just like a Neo in Matrix, we need to see the numbers. But yet, the purpose is still human being. So going back to this project, we are using many technologies, in the latest technologies, but everything's about human being. And this is how we divide the classroom. They change our configuration of the room every month. You see how they're helping teachers. They are quite helpful. And this is how the classroom is looking like in the Christmas time. And this wash basin, and these days, Japanese children are not talking each other. They are talking to computer. So we are forcing them to talk each other around the well. Good for Christmas. And this is a tree going through the classroom. And this girl is fishing this boy. And actually, this is a skylight. Each classroom has at least 1 or 2 skylights because there are more than 30 skylights. And you can open it, and they can put ladder on. And the principal made a fantastic idea. At the time of Christmas, he decided to bring Santa Claus down this skylight, bringing this a present. And the first year, it worked perfectly. So next year, he went to American base because he wanted to get really Santa Claus-looking guy. And Santa Claus came. But a problem happened because they got really good-looking American Santa Claus. The guy was stuck between this framing, Now they couldn't get him out. So now these days, we are using Japanese Santa Claus. Okay, this is how we switch on the light. You can see a string. These days people are saying we should use LED light. LED. Okay, maybe LED is efficient. Even we can replace this light bulb with LED. But our point is, maybe it's more important to develop consciousness to the energy to the children than just using latest technology, more efficient technology. There are more than 300 light bulbs under the ceiling, but there are more than 100 strings hanging down. So if you pull one string, you can light up just only 3 light bulbs. So children know that they turn on the light, and after they use it, they turn it off. It's a part of education. But my point is, still it's controlled by computer. And you can switch all off from the center, and also they can change the condition of the light from the center. Just like iPhone. We can teach many things, and we can have a human touch with the latest technology. But you don't need to think. You don't think that it's latest. Okay, this is how it's looking like from ceiling. It's looking quite simple. But we made all these things, and I can talk about this detail. Do you know what children love to do with this kind of light bulb? They get a broom to break it, and the lighting designer came up with very interesting detail. And when you hit this light bulb, it swings back so that the light can absorb energy. They can't break this light bulb. And the lighting designer called it the Mike Tyson detail. Do you know Mike Tyson? Now how the kindergarten is looking like. Now it's green in the middle. And principal went to buy a lawnmower. It's a grass cutting machine. And he came back with 2 goats, He's saying maybe just we got these the goats to eat the grass to keep it shorter. And eventually he started bringing small ponies. He found it's good enough. He's a very interesting person. Okay. Like I said, this is more academic. One of the professors about human behavior did research about this building. And this is a number of the games they created. And actually, this kindergarten doesn't have any playing tools produced by companies. And just only architecture elements are there. And the principal said, when you give a playing tool to the child, playing tool will tell children what they should do. They have to follow the instruction. But when they are playing around the architecture, they have to find the game. They have to make a game. And then professor found out 8 times more games than normal kindergarten. And also, this is a movement of the one boy within 20 minutes. This is 200 meters. And one graduate school student followed this boy, and she found out this boy make more than 6 kilometers in the morning before lunchtime. The automatic response. I'm going to show you a movie. Is sound coming up? Sure. Sorry?
傾斜のついた屋根はそのまま運動場として使える。
Saying the roof is
そし
inclined.
て
And the inclination just generates the kids' movement, and you can see that they bring on. And as come onto the top of the roof in the morning, they start running automatically. And I'm not forcing them to do. It happens every morning. And I'm explaining the reason why they're running is that they feel so, and then also they incline toward inwards, so they don't feel that they're spinning out.
そうすると何がいいかっていうと、ほら早く走ってもなんか外に飛び出す感じがしないでしょ。サーキットみたいな感じで、なんか走りたくなるんですよ。こう斜めに。子供たちはね、それを感じるんですよね。こうしなさいって言わないんだけど、走りたくなる。
We got the CNN. It's just that CNN, Japanese TV made a documentary program.
Windows on top of the roof. The children
they're using Chinese music instead of Japanese.
There are 3 trees. Well, sometimes we get more than 120 children around the tree. It's amazing.
Okay. Now it's okay. So now principal is saying, maybe the children growing from this kindergarten are going to be China in the 10 years, because these days China is taking all the gold medals in Asia. Now just we are making another small architecture, and we don't have much time, so I can show you very quickly. And we within 6 meters, we have 7 floors, and every scale is designed for children. Now we are making very small, and so this is only 1.2 meters. So adults are having trouble in this architecture, and we are building this around the tree, and we are trying many shapes. And this is a structure model. And I'm going to show you the column. Actually, size of the column is about 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter, smaller than this bottle. Maybe it's the size of this cap. And this is a structure looking like fractal of the leaves of the tree. It looks quite random, but it's rational. So this human movement create structure, everything. Everything is designed by the human being. I'm going to show a few projects, but we don't have much time, just running. This is an old project, presented at the Venice Biennale 2004. I think many people know this project. It's 160 meters long, to be built in the heaviest snow in the world. This area gets the heaviest snow in the world. This area gets 30 meters of snow each year, 30 meters. And the 30 meters of snow squashed down to average of 6 meters of snow. So deepest point, you get 12 meters of snow. Even this building gets buried completely. And this is 160 meters. And you can see the size of the cars. This is the biggest window in the world. And it's all welded together like a submarine. It's monocoque structure, because we have to stand against 2,500 tons of snow each year. It means sometimes that is 4.5 tons per square meters. You have to put 2 Rolls Royce in 1 square meter. And in the summer, you should go to the project in summer, because the building is about 20 centimeters longer. It can expand. It's all foundations designed to slide. Okay, and we have a windows just like this on the corner. And this is the biggest single piece of window. It's a very expensive window, $500,000 per piece, 4,000 kilo per window. And it's a great thing about this material. It's acrylic, new, very special acrylic in the plexiglass in English, and American, and acrylic in English. And it's so clear that is 75 mil. It doesn't change color, and also it doesn't make any condensation. And then I thought it's quite successful. And then we got a call from a client saying, this is national forest. We are not supposed to catch anything. And we are all scholars with PhD and curators staying there 365 days, saying the birds are bumping into the window because they don't see that they are dying. I said, I felt sorry, so we went them to say sorry. But they said, don't worry, we wanted to catch some birds, but we couldn't do that. Now this building is catching birds, and they were taking me to the shelves, and there were samples of the birds, and they're making more corrections. I'm sorry, just British love this kind of joke. Maybe it doesn't work in Turkey. Black. Actually, it's a true story. And 5 minutes after, 1 hour in a week, this snow is already 7 meters. And everything gets buried. And they said, are you okay? I said, it's okay. And they said, are you sure? I said, I'm sure. They said, it's scary. But it works perfectly. I'm going to show you the last project. Because your organizer said, Zainab said, I shouldn't talk too much. I'm sorry. Yeah. And she is a Canadian artist. She woven a net for the kids. Just like this. And one of the museum had this kind of net in the university building. And they had a little number of the people coming to see this sculpture. But this artist is quite famous. She has a very museum dedicated to her all around the world. But this wasn't going well, so they came to me to design a new pavilion. They asked me to design quite nice white box with steering structure to hang this net. But I said, it's wrong. This is just like a spider net. Spider net looks really bad in a building, in a white building. But spider net looks beautiful in the forest. But they said, we can't expose to the rain because these days rain got acid, melt everything, and also industrial dust are coming down from mainland China. So we had to make some kind of half inside, half outside situation. So we started making research. Actually, this is a sketch I made, and I made this model. And I was showing this model to my client. It was quite small because it is the shape of my hand. And we want to make something very natural nest. And I didn't expect I get the project because we didn't have much time. But funny thing is that the president of the museum really liked it. Okay. But he didn't know that is 1 to 1,000 scale. Right? And then I went to Ministry of Environment because this is in National Forest. You are not supposed to build anything. And I was showing this to Ministry of Environment, saying, do you think I can build this architecture all made out of wood, no metal, quite natural? They said, okay, it's cute. Look like a sculpture. But again, they didn't know that this is 1 to 1,000 scale. This is about 4 centimeters. And this is the size of the center dome, Hagia Sophia. This is the size of a Blue Mosque center dome. They didn't know. And we studied traditional Japanese architecture. And these structures are standing sometime more than 1,300 years, and it's very cleverly made. And we did some cellulose studies, and we didn't want to use any metal because that was a key to make the architecture, the wooden structure to survive for a long time. You putting steel in the wooden structure, it's just like putting mechanical joint into all the ladies' knee. We want to make everything to be natural, and we try to make a completely new geometry. It works structurally. We came up with this piece, and this looks quite random, but this is a completely rational structure. It's quite new. And our structure engineer from MIT said this is the first structure, completely new structure after Buckminster Fuller. And then we made many models, and we did structure analysis on the computer, and we started getting this. This is a guy from Ministry of Environment. He got upset, and this is size. You can see my wife, yeah. And now it's how it's built, things. You can see the pupil, right? And they put net inside, and it's external looking. It's quite natural, but yet big structure. And actually, I have to tell that each section is different. So there's no same section, because we did we made a structure analysis and the 3D models, but with new algorithms, so that we can make each square centimeter to carry enough same amount of bending moment and also shear force. Maybe it's a scientific word, But my point is, completely, created by the latest technology, and each piece is carved out by CNC machine. We send the information to 3D information to the machine directly, and we carved it out with precision. But still, we are referring back to the old. This is another nostalgic future. Our latest technology joined it with the oldest structure. Now you can see the difference. And in the good day, they have 5,000 people per day. Before this structure, there was only 40 people per day. Now they have 5,000. This year, they're expecting 1 million visitors to this pavilion. You can see the difference. And this is the beauty of this artwork. And then they choose whatever they want to. I like this picture. I like this one too. And we wanted to do the same thing for the architecture. And originally we were asked to design furniture, but I said we don't want it, because I want people to nest in architecture. And they sit on, they sleep on, right? Climbing, crawling. My wife is my son. He's cute. Okay, now this is how it's looking like after dark. So I think we are running out of time. But I'm going to show you just one. Okay, this is a bridge we built. It's made out of wood, designed to stand more than 300 years. And this is also designed to stand more than 300 years too. And it's amazing thing, this is really latest technology, but the people thinks really human. We use the latest technology to build things, but the result is very human. That's the point. People are trying to touch the bridge, and because it's wood, they're impressed. Actually, there's another bridge I can explain. I have just only 3 minutes. There used to be a bridge like this because they had to. There's a slope to climb over a street. Actually, there's a street here, and then I'm designing this for same museum. And instead of bending the bridge like this to making a long slope, we decided to make our wide bridge to be wider. So my son can climb up and down like this, and maybe most people walk down like this. And disabled people means that wheelchair can make this curve. So you can choose your way to climb over, close and walking on top of this bridge. So the curvature is designed for human movement. And also construction is very interesting. Just we bring a sheet of wood. Actually, it's 45 meter by 9 meter, and it's flat. until it's alive, and we get the props to make the shape until it becomes stable. So, structure, reason, working with human being. Actually, you can see that the people are sitting there, and it's not the bridge. It's creating human movement. Okay, now just I'm going through a few slides, and I don't think we have time to explain. I hope this company can sell my books in the store. I couldn't find one. Zainab, please buy the books. Buy books. Quite well sold. And I can show you the pictures. Yeah, maybe you can look into our webpage. That is also quite well known. Whoops, it's scary. Okay. I'm trying to reach the end. Look, it's interesting, yeah. And also the very small house with big window, open like this. There are many interesting houses. All these were published on the Architecture Review or Record. And it is a commercial building, Okay, now reaching to the end of the slides. And this, disable, and I'm driving this car. I wouldn't say this is exactly the most beautiful design in the world. But we like this car because this design was on sale about 50 years. We, Japanese, change car design every year. So last year's design is obsolete. But we are saying, the always ecological car is the latest. But at the same time, you should know that the amount of carbon dioxide you are producing when you are driving car is much less than the amount of the carbon dioxide produced when you are building the car. Do you understand? And also, architecture should be long life design. My point is architecture should be long life design. We can't get rid of architecture quite easy, We have to design for the future. In these days, architecture movement changes like a fashion. 2 years later, you may think differently. 4 years ago, we had curvy roofs, everything, and this car was sold on sale 50 years, and I was trying to find out the reason, and then I found out, people can't get involved with this car. When it's hot, we can off the ceiling because there's no air conditioning, but then sunlight hit your head. Then we can open this door, right? Here, there's the door underneath of the front window. And then we can let the air in. But if you forget to close it, when it's rainy, water splash into your cabin. But there's a guide, there's an instruction saying if the water was just standing on the bottom of the floor, you can pull the rubber plug out, so you can let the water out. It's very simple, It's human, and you can put many people in. You can put many things in. Thank you very much. And I think we should. Do you think we can make few questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Şimdi soru sormak isteyen misafirlerimiz varsa eğer.
And also, and I brought some books, and I'm gonna give this to the person who made the question. The first one gets one whole set. Our monograph 102, and the book from Architecture Museum in Frankfurt. Translator. I don't have one. I think that is the one, yeah? Okay. Oh, I have too many gears. Now I'm controlled by machine now. Sorry, please translate. Yes, I can hear you.
Merhabalar. Hoş geldiniz
Hello.
demek istiyorum öncelikle. Duyabiliyorsunuz değil mi?
Yes.
Okay. İsmim Şeyma Nur Çelik. İstanbul Kültür Üniversitesi'nde mimarlık öğrencisiyim. Merak ettiğim bir şey ve öğrenmek istediğim bir şey var aslında. Çevreye duyarlı mimarlardan olmaya çalışıyorum. Ve kullandığınız ahşap, yapılarınızdaki kullandığınız ahşap hakkında aslında merak ettiğim bir şey var. Sizce yapıda ahşap kullanımı mı çevreye daha duyarlı olur? Yoksa çevreye duyarlı ama enerji üretimi harcayarak üretilen bazı yapı malzemeleri var. Onların kullanımı mı daha doğru olur diye öğrenmek istedim. Teşekkür ederim.
Okay. Material is the physical existence of architecture. Architecture should exist for human being, and that's the point, right? Even you use wood, right? It can be very bad for environment. Even you use the latest material, it can be very bad. Even you use solar panels, maybe the energy created by solar panel could be too small for the exchange or production of solar panels. So whatever we do may be bad for the environment. That is the first thing you should remember, right? For me, efficient use of the roof is the best answer. For example, the rooftop of the kindergarten is in use all the time, and the children on top of the roof are not using air conditioning because they are on top of the roof. We think our outdoor life is the best material for the roof. Do you understand? Outdoor life. And also, for example, the roof of the Blue Mosque create beautiful skyline for the city, right? Nobody wants to destroy it. It stays forever. So the building is not wasting any material for centuries, maybe another 1,000 years, another 2,000 years. That is the best way to make the roof. So the material itself is not the answer. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah? Yes? So existence of the roof related to human being is the most important material. Do you understand? That is my answer. So you get the book. Do you think you can come? Okay.
Başka sorusu olan var mı acaba?
Huh? You don't like whole set? Because catalog 1 and 2, and because you were the first one, yeah. So, but you have to be famous architect to be published in the Architecture Review. And we have few more books, just only the books produced by our Architecture Museum in Frankfurt. Okay. Who should make question?
Yes, there's one in the behind. Arka
So just
taraftaki-
please, you choose somebody. Maybe I should choose. Okay.
Ben Türkçe sormak
Oops,
istiyordum ama
just hold on, just I need to get to this. Okay. Okay.
ben ahşap üzerine projeler yapıyorum.
Ben inşaat mühendisiyim. Bu kullandığınız projelerde açıklıklar bayağı büyük. Acaba bu ahşabın gerilmeleri çeliğe yakın mı, gerilmeleri bu kadar taşıma gücü?
Okay, it's very technical question. I can answer to that. You know, wood, it's definite. Wood is much weaker than steel, right? So, if this size of steel is required for structure, we need this size of wood to have same strength, right? So that is why we made our wood structure to be our big size, and it's very interesting geometry. Once you place a point at the bottom, and then you lay our first layer, right? Then you start working on second layer, third layer, the fourth layer. Then once you get to fourth level, the whole geometry get very much stable. It's geometry. Maybe I can talk to you later. And there's things sticking out, right? That is stabilizing again. And then you put the top part, right? Everything gets stable, right? And so I think just it's wrong to use wood as a substitute of steel structure. Totally different kind of animal, right? We are trying to manipulate wood as a totally different kind of things, not to substitute the steel. And the difficulty of using wood is dealing with uncertainty. I think you know the uncertainty factor. And instead of using linear equation, we are using a non-linear equation, putting uncertainty factor into each algorithm. And each section, I was now a part of writing algorithm for the structure, and each section, each part has a equation, and making the whole piece. And with that, we got the uncertainty factor to become bigger than the beginning, because we are not using non-linear equation. Maybe I can talk about this later, because it's quite very. maybe there are many people who doesn't understand it, but I think it's a fantastic question. Thank you very much. It's an honor to answer to your question.
So the last question is behind.
Okay.
Son soru arkadaki beyefendi.
Merhaba.
Hold on. Okay.
Merhaba, benim ismim Selim. Sunumunuzu çok beğendim. Yani fikirleriniz gerçekten çok güzel. Altına yatan düşünceleri öğrendikçe tasarımlar gerçekten daha bir anlam kazandı benim için. Yalnız benim sormak istediğim soru şu, belki çoğu arkadaşımızın da aklını meşgul eden bir soru. Mesela Japonya'da alanlar çok kısıtlı. Hani sizin yaptığınız tasarımı siz işte ev sahibinin çatıyı orada işte çatıya çıkmasından dolayı oluşan bir tasarım gibi anlattınız bize, ama hani aslında Japonya'da alanlar çok kısıtlı. Türkiye'de hani alan genişliği var Japonya'ya karşı. Yani merak ettiğim, acaba siz Türkiye'de olsaydınız gene öyle bir tasarım çıkar mıydı? Bu sizin Japonya'daki o yetiştirdiğiniz ortamla alakalı bir tasarımsal yönünüz mü, yoksa ifade edebildimse? Bir daha, bu arada ben de kitap istiyorum bir tane. Ben sorma kitap için hazırlamıştım. Teşekkürler.
Okay. First of all, you may think Japan is extremely congested, but it's not as bad as Hong Kong. And many people are saying the Japanese houses are very small, but My house is about 200 square meters, so it's not so bad. We do use a roof because it's fun. And we can let people enjoy outdoor life. So I would say, the climate of Japan, it's motivation for me to design rooftop things. Maybe I would do the same thing in India. I know that it works in India. In Turkey, maybe in Istanbul, I may do the same thing because there are some projects using a rooftop. You know that, But I have a project on somewhere in Turkey. I can't tell you yet. But I'm not using rooftop. Do I? Maybe I should. This is my co-architect. It depends on the climate. Do you think I'm answering question? Okay. It's not good enough? You are not buying a book anymore? It's okay? Okay?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, the book. You have to come to get this book after this.
So, thanks Mr.
Okay.
Tezuka. Yeah. Sevgili konuklar, katılımınız için çok teşekkürler. Konferansımız bitmiştir ancak şarap ikramımız var. Sorularınız varsa eğer Takaharu Tezuka'ya kişisel olarak da sorularınızı iletebilirsiniz. Teşekkür ediyoruz. İyi akşamlar.